Growing up, I would experience a lot of times where I would just be sitting in silence and a lot of thoughts would begin to rush into my head. It would be anxious thoughts, things that would make my heart beat fast, things that would make me worry, things that would make me feel insecure about myself. And I began to wonder, are these thoughts that I'm having me? Are these thoughts that I'm having what I should identify with? And as I've gotten older, I have learned that there is a difference between your ego and your higher self. And in this video, I want to explain to you all the difference between those two, because a lot of the times when we get those intrusive thoughts, when we begin to feel insecure about ourselves, when we think that we are feeling anxious about something or it's our intuition, most of the time it is our ego, it is our physical self working off of a broken nervous system that needs to be healed. So when you are trying to determine whether or not something is your ego, your lower self, or whether it is your higher self, the main thing that you can pay attention to is whether or not you feel calm. Your ego is always going to raise your blood pressure. It is always going to make you feel anxious. It's going to give you those butterflies in your stomach. It's going to make you feel like you have to make a decision right now. But when you are dealing with your higher self and you are coming from a place of true wisdom and intuition, you are going to feel calm. You are going to feel sure. You will not feel any anxiety or fear. Those are things that reside on the low vibration of ourselves, our ego. Another way that you can be able to tell if it is your higher self or your lower self is, do you feel like you need to make a decision right now? Do you feel rushed? Do you feel like you have to identify with this right now? Because when it is your higher self, you always feel a certain type of loving presence. It doesn't feel forceful. You do not feel like you have to do anything about the situation right now. You do not feel rushed. And so, calmness, surety, and not feeling rushed in the process is how you can tell if it's your higher self. I know a lot of times, especially when we sit in silence and we're trying to figure out how to make a decision about things, we can begin to have these type of thoughts that try to identify themselves with us. But really, these thoughts are what I like to call intrusive thoughts. These are not really who you are. These are thoughts that go off of your subconscious mind where your trauma resides. They go off of your past where your trauma resides. A lot of this stuff is very trauma related when it comes to your ego, because your ego likes to keep you in a victim mind state. It likes to keep you a victim. It likes to have you in a, oh, woe is me type mind state all the time. And so if you are in a situation and you're trying to make a decision about something, or you're just thinking about something and you start to feel like, well, why is this always happening to me? Or, well, this is what I deserve, or this is what I get. That is your ego. Your ego wants for you to feel that kind of way. Your higher self wants you to know that you are loved, that you are always in a situation that is working out for your good. So you're not going to feel like you're a bad person in the situation. You're not going to feel like you have to be a victim in the situation. So that is another way that you're able to tell if it is your ego or your higher self. But the main thing is this, you guys. If you have not healed your nervous system, you cannot rely on your intuition, because technically it's not really your intuition. It's just your ego hijacking your amygdala, making you, your amygdala is where you get your logical thinking from. So it's making you think that you're making logical decisions, but really what you're doing is you're working off of your traumatized self, your lower version of yourself. And so in order to really function from the highest version of yourself, the very first thing that you have to do, besides pay attention to all of those signs, is heal your nervous system. So that would be the very first step that I would take. But if you are experiencing any type of anxiety, depression, anxious, like butterflies in your stomach, nervousness, any kind of bad thoughts making you feel like something is happening to you, like you can't help yourself, you feel helpless, that is your ego. What your higher self wants you to understand is that you are the solution to your problems. That all you have to do is either think differently or feel differently, and then the whole entire situation will change for you. Your higher self wants you to understand that you are safe and that you are secure, but you cannot understand those things if you are functioning from your trauma based response, if you are functioning from an unhealed nervous system. So I hope that this helps you all. What have you noticed within yourself? Let me say that. What have you noticed within yourself that is ego responses that you've been functioning off of versus your higher self responses? Put that in the comments below, because healing is not linear. I do want to say that it is not a boop, boop, boop. Everything is going to look the same for everybody. That's not true. But if you begin to pay attention to the different signs and signals that want to keep pulling you down, then you will be able to help yourself rise above it. I love you so much.